Good morning. We'll call the Blue County Board of Commissioners meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda review?
Mr. Chair, there are no changes to the agenda this morning.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Commissioners' reports. Who'd like to start?
I can start out.
Okay.
Brief.
Brief.
And I don't mean a lawyer brief either.
All right.
Because they're not brief.
Let's see, after our board meeting on the June 10th, we had a work session. And then on June 11th, I was privileged to do a hard hat tour through the new Children's Museum.
Oh, nice.
And then the rest of that week, I did a couple more district meetings for my run for second vice president for AMC. Actually, rode my motorcycle up to Grand Marais, so that was a nice ride. And then this last week I did the transportation fly-in in Washington D.C. Trying to lobby for funds for Blue Earth County for transportation. On Tuesday we started out with some meetings. We had Victor Mendez, who is the acting deputy secretary of transportation, that spoke, and then we had Dennis McGran talked about updates. He's the lobbyist for not only for AMC but for the Minnesota Transportation Alliance. And we went through. We had a lot of speakers. The next morning we had Senator Amy Klobuchar, Senator Al Franken, Representative Colin Peterson, and of course Representative Tim Walz, who is always super interested in transportation around Blue Earth County and Mankato. Keith Ellison, Betty McCollum, and then next day we had, of course, then we had our meetings with Franken's office, with Klobuchar's office, and we had a meeting with the staff with Representative Tim Walz, and she actually had myself and my wife go to they had a Veterans Affairs meeting where his staff brought us over there and they called him out to talk with us, so that was kind of neat. The next day we had a breakfast that Commissioner Charlie Zelli from MnDOT spoke, and it was everybody that talked to us said that we're out there at the right time. Gave a few things. If you're not at the plate, you're not going to get a hit. If you don't open your mouth, you're not going to be fed. And it's you need to be there explaining to the people what our needs are here in Blue Earth County and the state of Minnesota.
Well, thanks for being a voice out there then, Dan.
Thank you.
And having your mouth open.
Well, my mouth open like a little baby chick. Yes. Yes. And let me see here. Yesterday I had my Habitat for Humanity board meeting and a diversity board meeting, and this morning I had the Airport Commission meeting. That's it. Thank you.
Great. Drew?
Sure, yeah. Mine's a little shorter. Our last board meeting was June 10th, and of course we had a pretty long work session that day, if you remember.
Yeah, we did.
We even had to have lunch ordered in, and then we, including with that, was a closed meeting that we had also. And on the 11th, Wednesday, I went to the Roundabout Update meeting with Sam Thompson. He's their representative. He does these weekly roundabout updates up there at Hy-Vee, and it was good to hear. A lot of people expressed some signage changes that they needed, and you know, a lot of the local businesses come and send representatives to talk about how things are going. All in all, it sounded like it was positive. And then on the 12th, I attended the Songs on the Lawn event down here in Mankato. Have you guys ever gone to one of those?
I have you? Not lately.
Yeah, it was a nice, large crowd of people down there, I'll tell you.
Get the sculptures too, some of them.
Well, they're down there.
I know, so you.
Yeah, you see a lot of it. Good music and good food. And then I attended the a victim identity theft program that was presented at Old Main Village, right up here across the street. That was on Thursday evening, and pretty well attended. There's about 50 people there, and it's really becoming a problem throughout the country. It's costing, you know, trillions of dollars basically of people losing their identity and funding and businesses and for individuals. On Friday the 13th, the Region 9 Renewable Energy Task Force meeting was held, and I attended that. Monday the 16th, there was a Minnesota Women's Foundation luncheon program. They presented a lot of the stats of the world, of the United States, and of Minnesota regarding some of the discrepancies in women representation of different types of jobs, opportunities, and in leadership, and also health, access to health. And so I did some research before I went to it. I read that, you know, if you look across the country, I think it's only about 15% of women are in elected positions of leadership, about 85% men. But then there's a study that was done that was very interesting that I read that showed that they found what's the biggest reason for this? Well, they found that when women actually run for office, they actually have an equal chance, according to statistics, of being elected as men. It's just that they don't have the desire or the drive to run for office. And it's a very interesting study done by the American University. If anybody wants to look it up, it's called Men Rule. And so there's differences in our genders, you know what I mean? Reasons for wanting to run for office, reasons for competing, and that sort of thing. And so it was interesting to participate. Then they had a focus group. A lot of local leadership came. Our mayor was there, and had kind of a round table where we went around and expressed ourselves about things in the community. So it was very well done. Thursday the 19th, emergency management meeting. Of course, we were all there for Governor Dayton, except for me. You were all
Yeah, I forgot about Klobuchar's meeting too, man.
on Sunday. Yeah.
I was
See, we had just a little water here and we got him here. We didn't have to go see him. He came here.
I know.
So we were talking about and assessing some of the damages and the flooding and the potential, if we got more rainfall, what would happen. Of course, the river's still peaking as we speak. And then also was David Fredrickson. He was here. He's the Commissioner of Agriculture. So he was there also. And then June 19th, I attended the Minnesota River Congress dinner event in New Ulm at Turner Hall. And it's an effort to explore reasons for possibly developing a citizen-led organizational group to maintain and improve the vitality of the river region. It was a very large, diverse group of people, and this is kind of as a result of the fact that the Minnesota River Board has, dissolved. And so they're trying to look for maybe a citizen-led group that could represent the river valley, the entire basin. So that's ends my report. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for all that work. That was
Yeah, you're welcome.
Mark? Let's see, the work session on the 10th, Kip and I had Micah on the 11th. We kind of went through the rundown that you get your information everybody gets on the session. That was interesting. Another property management meeting for Partners for Affordable Housing on the 12th. Then we had mayors and clerks at Madison Lake. And who
let's see, the sheriff, yeah, the sheriff was there.
Mm-hmm.
Gave us a rundown, the sheriff did. And so Kip and I caught the Town and Country Days and got our pies.
Nice.
I don't know if we got in the paper or not with the pie, but don't know that
I
yet.
got down there real late.
You didn't get
Oh,
any
you
pie
did?
in the face or anything?
No.
No,
I bought 2 pies.
we got the pie and took off, so that wouldn't happen. So we got out of there.
Yep.
No, we cleared out, it was actually, the rain kinda cleared off. Then had our full meeting for Partners for Affordable Housing on the 19th. And then, saw the governor and the senator on those 2 different occasions
Yeah.
for, the damage situation. That concludes my report, Mr. Chair.
Good.
I was also at the work session, as Mark mentioned, Micah, mayors and clerks, with the sheriff speaking. I got a tidbit on there that night I thought was kind of interesting. The sheriff said the only person in the county that can arrest him is the county coroner. Was it coroner?
Or is that our medical examiner?
Medical
Same-
examiner, right?
Same, we call it, we don't call it.
Kind of interesting, so, but sheriff did a great job at that meeting, made Bob Hagg's retirement party, Drew, you were there.
Oh, yeah, I was there.
Yeah, he had a
I forgot a few
nice
things on my
turnout,
report.
he had a lot of people there. I was also at one of the roundabout updates last Wednesday after the rain, so it wasn't so pleasant and rosy. They were concerned about the rain, obviously, but the guy from Mathewitz said that if the rain comes for the next day or 2, they should be able to get back on schedule on Monday.
They're
The
working
rain, yep, they're
yesterday,
working.
Yeah, they started yesterday.
Wow.
So they were optimistic, but it was at Jersey Mike's. They had a good turnout again, probably 7 or 8 businesses, so
Wow.
I'm
5
excited to go to the
guys
one.
tomorrow.
Yep, 5 guys tomorrow on Wednesday, so.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But that was very informational. Town and Country Days was already mentioned, governor, senator made it to both of those, and then Will and I had extension, and things are going very well at extension, and they're getting all geared up for the fair and 4-H and all that fun stuff this summer.
Good. Now, most of the stuff has been mentioned. On the 19th, we did the TDS board meeting. It's a regular board meeting. We just conducted business as usual. And of course, the governor and Senator Klobuchar. I did spend some time driving around my district looking at storm damage, and it's pretty scattered. I mean, the east side is a little tougher than the west side, but there is some substantial water on the west side too. So should work. I'm happy to report that County Ditch, Judicial Ditch 38, east of Amboy, is functioning the way it should be. So I was
That's new, isn't it?
yeah, we just completed some work on that, so that worked very well. And yesterday I was at safety camp over in North Mankato, something that I did a lot of when I was at the Sheriff's Department. And
Remember those days?
yeah, so that brings us up to today, and I think
Will, can I say one thing?
yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say that retirement for Bob Haig was wonderful. I was really impressed.
Yeah.
You know, with the community that came out. There's so many people from Lake Crystal to say goodbye to him, or congratulate him on his retirement and his family. And
Yeah.
it was just, I was surprised at how many people were in that. It's called the Bank restaurant there. And it was
Pretty
else
nice.
to see. Yeah, it's nice to see.
Great. I believe we're ready for the disaster declaration resolution. Mike, you come up.
Whenever you come, it's always a disaster.
Yeah.
He's kind of a walking disaster, yeah.
Good morning, Mike.
Morning, Mike.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I wish I didn't have to sit here today and ask for this, but this is on June 19th, 2014, the governor declared a state of emergency for 35 counties in the state of Minnesota. Blue Earth County was named in the declaration due to the weather events that occurred on the 16th and the 18th, which I'm sure all of you are familiar with. We've had Governor Dayton down and Senator Amy Klobuchar down to tour some of these things. The fortunate thing for me is I was on vacation during the weather events, so my staff did an excellent job of getting us through this disaster, so I can't do anything but commend how they reacted and the actions they did. So we feel we've got a really pretty good program put together, and they all stepped up and did a great job. But because of this, the state of Minnesota must meet the threshold of $7.3 million of uninsured public damage, and to meet, to request the for the governor to request the presidential declaration. And the county must meet, $224,485.50, or $3.50 per capita, to request, the presidential declaration, or to meet our threshold through the county. Blue Earth County, right now, on the preliminary reports, we're looking at damage in excess of $500,000. Now, that's very preliminary. There's some significant water main damage. And when I say Blue Earth County, this is all the cities, all the townships, Blue Earth County itself, and the city of Mankato. So this is encompassing everything. Mankato has some significant water main damage, and those totals could easily go over $1 million if, if it was the storm related to those water main damages and stuff. And again, we're really in the preliminary stages of getting our reports back. But right now, we're in excess of $500,000. This could go well over $1 million if all of this stuff falls into place. The governor is expected to request a presidential declaration, and I would ask the board to pass this resolution to advise the governor that we've met our threshold locally, and ask we move forward with the declaration on Blue Earth County's behalf.
I'll motion for that.
Any discussion? There's no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, Mike.
I would ditto your comments about your staff. They did a wonderful job.
Eric,
It's unfortunate they're getting really good at it because we have a lot of issues to deal with.
Yeah, please,
But they do a good job.
please commend your staff on behalf of the board for us, and thank you for all your hard work.
Oh,
I've enjoyed watching you on TV too for emergency preparedness type things.
Yeah, you guys do a great job with
You're on
that,
TV, this weekend I saw you 2 or 3 times.
Well, the community's really pulled together, and, Brenda's worked really hard on some of our community awareness programs, and, St. Clair will function like a Swiss watch over there as a community themselves. They do it almost independently. They get their bags ready to go. We keep bags now almost in every city, and, it's really grown, and this, the cities themselves have to be commended for the work that they do and can move forward, so,
And it looks like the water's receding, quite well, isn't it? Smaller rivers and things like that.
Yep, we're starting to see crests and rivers, and we're starting to see a lot of those ponds in the fields that Will talked about starting to go down. There is gonna be a significant amount of crop damage out there. I mean, even on the western side where we didn't get as much rain, I'm gonna have some crop loss, and you're seeing puddles all over. But, we'll just kinda wait and see how much. Again, not all the water's down, but, hopefully, we don't get any more in the future here, but it does look like a little bit of rain in the forecast. We'll hope it's just the standard even amounts instead of these 3 to 4 to 6 inch dumpings, so, yeah.
thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Mike.
You wanna do some administrative?
Yes, Mr. Chair. First item is the county board minutes for June 10th of this year.
I'll move the minute.
second.
Okay. Any discussion? None, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. The bills?
I'll move the bills. Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Just a couple questions.
Okay.
There's a Civil Ag Group Incorporated on the first week for, contracted services, and I'm just wondering, with the $84,000, what that's for?
That's part of Judicial Ditch 38's improvement.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
38.
Yeah. And then, wondering about the Higher Ground Construction Company waivered services, $17,000. Just, I'm not familiar with something that would be waivered services unless it's maybe some kind of physical adjustments for somebody so they can get in and out of their home or something.
Is that in the second week?
No, I think it's in the first week. Higher Ground Construction Company. And it's listed under waivered services, which I thought was a little different.
Right, it is a bathroom modification for a client in the Human Services Department.
Oh, okay. That's paid for out of our federal funds then?
That's correct. It's a medical assistance waiver program, and so it is fully covered by state and federal resources.
Wow, okay. And just one more. Overdrive, week 2, contracted services for $12,000 even. I'm not familiar with Overdrive, I don't know. Maybe it's a program or something.
That's a part of the library's web access, and so it's a maintenance cost of that particular software product.
Like an annual fee or something, or
Yes.
to maintain the software?
Yep.
Okay.
So you can reserve books through Overdrive and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Thanks.
Okay, any other questions?
The same Mayo system, or no, what is it? MAVO systems, MAVO systems, building improvements, about 10,750. It's on, yeah, that's the second. So that's still the first week. Yep. That was all I had. MAVO,
Excuse me.
To look that one up. They do most of our asbestos abatement, so I
okay.
assume that's what it is.
okay. Yeah.
Yes, it is
Above all the Mayo.
asbestos abatement on the windows on our second and third floor here at the
Oh, okay.
courthouse.
That'd be it. All right, thank you.
Anything else? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Bills are approved. Human Resources? Just informational, isn't it?
It is, we've had a few resignations or movement of people, so we did have a word processing operator that, moved over into the Human Services Department, and so we've initiated recruitment to refill that word processing operator. We had a resignation in the dispatch center, so we've initiated recruitment to refill that position, and then also a resignation of a part-time library clerk, and subsequently initiated recruitment to refill that part-time position.
We're not turning into a training area for these people, are we? I mean, where they get hired on to other places?
Well, in the case of the library clerk, as I understand it, she's moving to Sioux Falls and did move to a full-time library position there, so I guess you could argue that there. The other ones are either initiated by the individual themselves as a promotional opportunity, or, in the case of the dispatcher, a relatively new employee that decided maybe it didn't fit perfectly with their skill set.
Thank you.
Otherwise, the part-time positions in the library are working out okay, because I know we've had quite a bit of turnover since like this last year in that area, so.
Yeah, the part-time positions really are needed to manage the hours at that particular facility. The flexibility that comes with having those part-time
Yeah.
positions allows us to have the hours that we do currently.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Department of Corrections, work release, joint powers agreement.
All right, Mr. Chair and Commissioners, this is a request to renew an agreement that we have with the Department of Corrections. They pay the county $55 a day to house inmates that are in the last 6 months of their state sentence, and allows those prisoners to participate in a work release program. So this is a renewal of an agreement that we've previously had with the Department of Corrections, and recommending approval of that joint powers agreement.
I'll move to approval of that joint powers agreement.
Okay. Any discussion?
What's the cost of housing a prisoner?
Well, we estimated at that $55 a day. You know, we don't have a set per diem, per se, but, based on some analysis that's been done in the past, we believe that $55 does cover the daily cost of a prisoner.
So we're really not making any money on it, but we're just hopefully not losing.
That's correct.
Okay, as long as we're not losing money, and it helps keep, I mean, the jail.
Right, and with some of our
to a certain
census,
standard, I mean, so we don't lose money. If we don't have enough prisoners, which would be great, but we'd actually lose money.
well, and with some of our census information now, this is getting to be a little harder agreement to live up to, because we are filling up the jail with local inmates, and so,
That's what I was kind of wondering.
yeah, this is subject to our availability. so we
It is.
can say to.
So we
the
can say we're kinda full right now, we can't take
Yeah,
somebody.
I think once we've
That's the thing.
take an individual, we probably have to finish it out, but we can say to the DOC, we're not, able to take additional
Okay,
inmates.
that's
So,
important,
Yep.
Yeah.
thank you.
I know the machine is built to handle, I mean, I think it's been, oiled to a level of about 100 people, staff-wise, food-wise, and everything else. I think it's pretty, isn't it pretty much kept at that status level?
Well, we have been running closer to 80 or 85.
Oh, it is, okay.
And but recently, it's been closer to that 100 to
Yeah.
105, so we are stressed a little bit in our jail system.
Thank you. Thanks, Bob.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Reappointment of the medical examiner.
Yes, Mr. Chair and Commissioners, we've previously appointed Dr. Gremmel as the medical examiner to serve Blue Earth County. His current 4-year term expires at the end of this year, and so we're at a point where we want to renew that appointment of Dr. Gremmel, and so we would ask the board's approval of that appointment for a 4-year term expiring in 2018.
So moved, or, second.
Okay, I'll take that as a motion in a second.
Is
Any discussion?
Dr. Gremmel, was he associated with any clinic?
LCM, pathologist.
Oh, okay, well, that's actually part of Mayo now, so, yeah, I don't know, do they call it, I don't know if they call it LCM anymore, I don't know. Okay, all right, yep.
Okay, no other comments, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay,
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, item number 6 in your packet is a request to set a hearing for repair on County Ditch 50. This is a ditch that lies in Lincoln and Butternut Valley Townships. The board back in November of 2013 ordered INS Group to prepare options for landowners to review. We did hold landowner informational meetings in March and April of this year. We have subsequently received a petition for repair of County Ditch 50 on April 4th of this year, and so on April 30th of this year, the Drainage Authority ordered INS to prepare a report in accordance with Minnesota Statutes 103E.715. Our action requested today is to set a public hearing on the repairs to County Ditch 50 at 9:15 a.m. on July 8th. That's the county board meeting.
So moved. Second.
any discussion? Not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Drainage inspectors reports.
First item up there is JD 22. This is a county ditch in Luray Township. It's in pretty tough shape right now, as you can see by some of the pictures. There's an 8-inch tile line that is broken in a number of locations. A number of the other portions of the tile are shallow and been pushed out of alignment by the frost. You can see by one of the pictures that
Oh my gosh.
there's been quite a bit of flooding, and the tile is actually exposed by being pushed out of the ground by the frost. We're needing to move this tile line and get it back in the ground the way it's supposed to function, and so this is a fairly expensive repair that's being proposed at $38,314 with a balance in the account of only $11,075, so this will take us into a negative status. But in order to get the drainage back that's needed here, we need to make this repair.
And we've got money in the ditch account anyway, the overall account, don't we?
Right, but individual accounts are supposed to be able to handle this, so we
Yeah.
will have to endure another concern by the state auditors that we
Okay.
are running negative ditch balances, but we've been making efforts to accommodate that.
You're gonna go through all of them and then?
Just
Yeah,
two.
okay.
Yep. The next one then is CD 26. This again is out in Luray Township. We have 10 to 14 feet of broken and cracked concrete tile. recommending replacement of that tile. In this case, the repair is estimated at $1,000 with a sufficient balance to cover that repair.
I'll move approval of the two
Second.
repairs.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? There's no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Okay,
Okay.
Down to our planning zone tomorrow.
we were at planning and
Oh,
zoning.
that's pretty close.
You're right on.
What an efficient chair.
Yeah. Jeez. You're good.
Yeah, I forgot my whip today.
Not quite like a railroad, but it's working. Morning, gentlemen.
Hello?
Morning.
Morning.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. PC 04-14 is a request from Peter Blesson and Jennifer Clark. It is a request for approval of the final plat of Prairie Lake subdivision, a 5-lot, 3 outlot subdivision located in parts of the northwest and southwest quarters of Section 11, Leray Township. The property includes conservation and agricultural zoning districts and is also within the Shoreland Overlay District, Madison Lake, a recreational development lake as defined by the DNR. Mr. Leary presented the staff report. The applicant and his attorney provided the commission their view of the drainage plan and the process of a review used by staff. Members of the planning commission also commented on the process. Of concern to the commission seemed to be the issue of state guidelines versus state rules. Ryan Jones, a professional engineer with the Blue Earth County Soil and Water Conservation District, was contracted by the county to review the drainage plan presented by the applicants for compliance with state construction permit requirements. Mr. Jones advised the commission that there are elements of the permit that are not just guidelines, but are in fact rules. Members of the planning commission agreed that a workshop with the planning commission, county board, and staff is needed to review the process used by staff to interpret state guidelines versus state statute relating to stormwater management plan review. Following the discussion, the planning commission voted unanimously to forward a recommendation of approval of the request to the county board, and the board action is a resolution.
Okay. We'll open this up for public comment. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to PC 04-14? Please come to the podium, state your name, and yes, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And the Board of Commissioners, my name is Paul Schneider. I'm an attorney at Blevin, Gage & Krause. I'm here representing the applicants, Peter Blevin and Jennifer Clark. Mr. Blevin came down with a case of bronchitis and was not able to make it. I'm here to answer any questions that the board may have. I think this matter has been thoroughly reviewed by county staff and the planning commission. Both the engineer hired by the applicants at the engineering firm Bolton & Mank and the engineer at the Board of Water and Soil District, as Mr. Leary mentioned, have concluded that this project will meet MPCA guidelines in terms of the drainage issue. And so we are very pleased to have earned the recommendation from county staff as well as the Planning and Zoning Commission for approval of this project.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate your comments. Does anyone have any questions?
I just know it's come before, informationally, it's come before our board several times on the agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know it had been, county staff and the staff working with, Mr. Blesson and the property out there at the Wilson farmland. It's been an ongoing thing for over a year now, I think, as far as the planning for the project of having 5, good-sized lots out on Madison Lake, right in the shoreland there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been quite aware of it and appreciate all the energy and the time and it has taken for everybody that's been working on this project. So
Thank you.
Just would also like to remind you of what Mr. Rary spoke of, is that we're planning a work session on this topic and would like to invite you and the rest, anyone else that would like to attend for your input during that.
Okay, well, I certainly appreciate the invitation.
Yeah. So, okay. Are there any other public comments? Last time, are there any public comments regarding PC 04-14? There are no other public comments, we'll close the public comment section, bring it back to the board for action.
Move to approve. Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Yes, go ahead, Drew.
Say a couple more comments. I know sometimes the county has things go through pretty fast and maybe doesn't represent how much work and energy it took, and I just wanna say thank you to George and all the staff that worked on it, our water planners and Scott, everybody that put time in. I think as we go forward, you know, working on these issues in shoreland districts is going to become more complex because water is becoming a extreme concern. And I noticed in the report it said that this lake is already listed as impaired waters, and that I appreciate the fact that it was re-examined. You know, to see how development in this region would develop the impaired waters that already exist in Madison Lake. And so I just think it's good that our county took the time to review it, and I know there was some you know, opinions that may have seemed like we were trying to overdo it or something, but I don't think that's the case. I think that it was good that people were looking at options and looking at ways of trying to solve any water issues. I did notice that the system that's built to handle the rainwater runoff is built to handle 1 inch rainfall, and we just had a 4 or 5 inch rainfall, so we know that it's not overbuilt, it's probably underbuilt, but I'm glad that something is built to help handle some of the settling that needs to occur so there isn't more runoff into the lake there. So thank you. Appreciate everybody on both sides, the Bluffton family and everybody that worked on it too. So.
Very good. Thank you for your comments, Drew. Anything else? No other comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, go ahead, George.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. PC 11-14 is a request from Marks Farms, Inc. For a conditional use permit to construct 1 total confinement poultry barn with a dry manure handling system capable of holding 40,000 laying hens or 400 animal units. Said request will increase the total animal units for the site to 550. The property is zoned agricultural. The property is located in the southwest quarter of the southwest quarter of Section 11 and the northwest quarter of the northwest quarter of Section 14, Mapleton Township. Mr. Schulte presented the staff report. The applicant was present and had no comment. There was no public comment. There was little discussion by the Planning Commission. Following the discussion, the Planning Commission voted unanimously to forward a recommendation of approval of the request to the County Board, and the Board action is for the resolution.
Okay, very good. We'll open the meeting up for public comment at this time. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to PC 11-14? If so, please come to the podium, state your name. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to PC 11-14? Please come to the podium. Last time, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to PC 11-14? If not, I'll close the public comment portion, bring it back to the board for action.
I'll move the request.
Okay, is there any discussion?
They have an existing barn there right now that has chickens.
Yep.
Is it 400 animal units or? So I'm trying to figure that out.
I believe they're currently at 150 animal units.
Oh, okay, so it's going up significantly then, isn't it?
Yep, it's a replacement of 2 that have been previously damaged and removed, plus the small and the expansion.
Oh, okay. All right.
One of the 2 structures, the most recently, was burned down by accident this past winter on a very cold day.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
That's usually when they seem to.
I remember the news on that one.
Sorry?
I remember the news on that one.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, any other comments? Not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
I was gonna mention, my son's building a chicken coop right now in downtown Minneapolis where he lives. So they're gonna have their own chicken eggs. So,
We're not going there.
He developed a manure management program.
I don't know what they've got going on there. Probably for their garden, I don't know.
Thank you, George.
It'll be fun.
Only in Minneapolis.
Always fun
Only
to
in
have
Minneapolis.
It's right in North Minneapolis.
I don't wanna go there.
Yeah, I don't wanna go.
Okay, what else you got for us?
Mr. Chair, that's it until 9:45, so, I could though maybe just give you a quick little update on some of the, flood reporting information
Yeah,
that's
that'd be good.
been coming in through our website. The Taxpayer Services Department had set up a reporting mechanism, and we certainly wanna encourage, residents of Blue Earth County to, complete that form. As of this morning, we we received 80 reports. The majority of those are in the city of Mankato. There are reports both on flood damage as well as storm damage. Again, the majority of the reports are for flood-related problems, but there are, like I say, a number of reports that also deal with the wind damage that we saw earlier last week. So again, want to just get the word out to people that we'd like to see anyone with damage utilize this reporting mechanism. We don't know what kind of assistance might become available, but this reporting will help us if there are assistance programs made available.
Excuse me.
Shall we recess for a few minutes and so it's,
That'd be great.
okay, shall we continue with the, tax forfeiture?
Yes, Mr. Chair, let's have Mike Stahlberger come to the front.
Morning, Mike.
Morning, Mike.
Morning, Mike.
Morning.
Michael.
As you all know, I'm Mike Stahlberger, Deputy Director of Taxpayer Services and County Assessor for Blue Earth County. Today I have item number 10 in your packet, which is a repurchase application for a piece of tax forfeited property in the county. As you're likely well aware, the county board delegated about a year or two ago most of the duties related to the tax forfeiture process. One of the duties that was not able to be delegated to our office was approval or denial of applications for repurchase of tax forfeited property, and that's what I'm bringing forward today. The property that we're dealing with today is located on Wood Drive, which is in Lime Township. The owners of the property at the time of forfeiture were Aaron and Kim Goings. The property carried a value for the 2014 assessment right around $19,600, and you can see how that's broken down, and there's a picture of that property in your packet. It is a 1,000 square foot detached two-car oversized garage. Built in 1988, it is in average condition. As you may recall from the tax forfeiture process, once property has had delinquent taxes for a set number of years, it forfeits to the state of Minnesota to be held in trust for all of the taxing jurisdictions that had not received tax money for those years. This property is in that tax forfeiture status, and the property owners have the former property owners have requested to submit an application for repurchase of that property. As we move on to page 2, the statute that is related to repurchase notes very clearly that the property owner does not have a right to the repurchase. They have the right to submit a written application for that repurchase. And as I mentioned, the owner has done that today. The board must act on that repurchase application and determine as to whether or not one of the following conditions has been met. The first condition would be undue hardship or injustice resulting from the tax forfeiture will be corrected, or the repurchase will be in the best interest of the public. Okay. In this instance, if the board chooses to allow for the repurchase of the property, we will require a resolution to formalize that repurchase, and then the property owner at the time of forfeiture is required to pay the total purchase price, which is equal to the sum of the real estate property taxes due, any special assessments, as well as any penalties, interest, and costs associated with the tax delinquency and or administration. For this property, that total is $1,596.63. The county board does have the option to offer a repurchase installment plan. In this particular application, that is not being requested, so I will skip over that. The application from the owner at the time of forfeiture on this property, Mr. Goings, was submitted on June 16th. I verified that the application for repurchase is allowable under statute. He did have ownership interest in the property at the time of forfeiture, and he is meeting the statutory timelines for submitting that application. Mr. Goings is present. He has asked to address the board regarding his repurchase application, so I will have him do that rather than me.
That's fine.
Okay. Thank you. Good morning, Board.
Morning.
My family and I, or my wife and I, and my children, which I have 5 children, we moved down to the Mankato area 14 years ago. Actually, a couple years longer because we had rented a couple years prior to purchasing our first home in Kasota for $89,000 back then. We paid, of course, our mortgage on time and so on. We ended up selling our home 4 years later. While living in Kasota, we were able to start our own business, Frontline Marketing. We did very well for a number of years. It was just in the last 5 or 6 years where we had some financial challenges. 5 years ago, our daughter was diagnosed with cancer. We battled through that. She's now cancer-free. 2 years. She is currently an honors student, so although she had brain cancer, she's doing exceptionally well. We did through, long story short, we had worked primarily for Charter Communications. We had started working for a company. They'd heard that we did good work, very high integrity work. Most contractors that are in the marketing business of selling cable services were either fired or went to the wayside, mostly, sadly, due to unethical business practices. We have been retained, and we're the number 1 company in America working for Charter Communications as a subcontract group. When the new CEO fired all contractors, we had become the master contractor for Comcast. I don't know if any of this is relevant, but through all of these changes in the industry, we were fired from Charter, having to restart, and these companies make changes all the time. They don't really think much about the subcontract groups that work for them. Needless to say, we did just about go out of business. So we had thought about filing bankruptcy over the past, about 2 years. We had actually considered that. But we battled on, and today we're doing well. We have contracts now with Comcast, with Charter Communications again, with Mediacom, CenturyLink, Frontier, AT&T, and now DirecTV. Our sales team is growing. We're looking to expand, and we're also adding sales channels. And so we're able to. Just one more thing I wanted to mention is that originally the taxes. See, it's 2 parcels. We have the main house, and then we have the detached garage that he had put up there. Both were escrowed in our payments originally. So we started getting letters. We didn't really understand that at first, and then it came to the point where we just literally couldn't pay. We were paying our people first, because if we did not pay our people, of course they wouldn't work. If they don't work, we have no income. And so we first had to protect and shore up our income base. Now fast forward, at the time that the property was forfeited, it's just by the grace of God that things are now going in the direction where we can write the check. So we submitted a cashier's check for the full amount of the taxes. And other than that, I would just ask your grace and please allow us to repurchase. I have paid for that property on time for about 10 years. I didn't look at the date. Perfect on-time payments. I had good credit. My credit has taken a little bit of a beating over the last year, but that will be rebuilt, as we've always made on-time payments. We've always paid our creditors. Anybody I've done business with in the Mankato area will attest to the fact that we're good payers and do good business since we moved down here, over 14 years ago. I think that's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion for the Goings family to be able to repurchase the land that they once owned.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
You know what, this is a perfect example of somebody that had hard times. I mean, a few years back, there was a lot of people that had hard times, and he battled through, got a good business, got a good business sense, and he's doing well. I don't think us as Blue Earth County Commissioners should be sitting there and hurting him by, I mean, he's gonna be paying us the full amount what he owes us. I think that's really a testament to how, the type of person he is and his family.
Absolutely. Any other comments? If none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Goings.
Mr. Chair, shall we take a 5-minute recess until Human Service presentation?
Absolutely.
occurs?
I guess so. Come on up, Phil and James. You all ready?
We're rolling.
We're rolling.
Yep. Hi, Phil.
Hi, how are
Morning,
you?
Phil and Jay.
Morning, Jay. See you all.
Morning. Thanks for having us here. I do have a abbreviated report for you today. I know you have some other obligations that you need to get to, and so it worked pretty well because I just have 2 action items, Mr. Chair and Commissioners, to bring to your attention today. They're both pretty straightforward in their nature. The first one, under adult mental health, is transitions to community, and this is a legislatively approved grant that really expands existing resources for individuals with mental illness to live in their home communities. It really targets multi-need individuals that have probably a lot of things going on all at once, and it's really about reintegration back into the community. We've been allocated, based on our presenting need right now, $11,840, so I'm bringing that to the board's attention. It is a baseline number for 14, and there is a renewal possibility that we can find other funds for this same purpose once we get to the new year. And then the only other one I have is just really, it's both an FYI and an approval on the South Central Community-Based Initiative Camp Patterson effort. Annually, we do host a therapeutic recreational event at Camp Patterson for mental health consumers within the 10-county region for the South Central Community-Based Initiative. Again, all these individuals are recovering from mental illness. It is a day camp. The date for this year is September 10th, and the cost is $350, which is the same cost as in previous years. So those are the 2 action items that I have for you today. Also move the 2 items.
Second.
Discussion? If there's no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. I do have one informational discussion item that I'm hoping we can use our technology here and be able to show you. I'm just going to do a quick intro on this. It's a web-based resource that really walks people through our child care application process. Both Commissioner Campbell and Commissioner Strumberg have been involved in some of this in the past with some specific case issues, but also some provider issues that we've had. And what we see is some barriers that really come up with how to navigate the application itself. It's kind of like when we sit and do our taxes. It would be nice if we had a little tutorial saying what this really means is. And so we've done that here for you, and we want to show you this clip. Hopefully it'll be self-explanatory. We obviously are trying to reduce language barriers, and we're trying to understand the instructions through this tool. So we'll see if it can come up here.
Welcome to the Child Care Assistance Program Educational Tutorial. The Child Care Assistance Program helps pay for child care so low-income families can work, job search, or attend school while moving towards self-sufficiency. This program helps with assistance for children up to age 12 and for children with special needs up to age 14. There are 3 types of funding: Minnesota Family Investment Program, or MFIP for families participating in that program. If applying for assistance while on MFIP, you must work with Employment Services to be authorized for assistance. Transitional Year, or TY for families that had an MFIP case close within the last 12 months. Basic sliding fee, or BSF, for low-income families that may become income eligible. If applying for assistance on TY or BSF, you must be in an authorized activity which involves working, job search, or going to school. There are 3 ways to get an application for child care assistance. You can pick up an application at Blue Earth County Government Center or call and request materials at 507-304-4335. You could visit ApplyMN to apply online or print off an application form from the DHS website. The Child Care Assistance Program is operated by the state of Minnesota. The requirements are set by the state. The counties process the applications but must follow the state requirements. Any incomplete application will be denied. Please make sure the application is complete and all verifications are turned in. In order to try and help you understand the Child Care Assistance application and process, we will be discussing the application by sections. Section 1 requests information about yourself. Please answer all questions in this section. You will need to turn in verifications of your identity and residence for this section. Section 2 requests information on everyone living in your household. You will need to turn in verification of each person's identity that you list in this section. Section 3 requests information on all children in your family where one parent is not living in your home. This parent is referred to as an absent parent. If there are any absent parents, you will need to complete a set of child support papers for each absent parent. One set of child support referral papers are included with the application packets that are handed out at the agency. If you are in need of additional sets, you can pick up extra sets at the first floor reception desk at the Blue Earth County Government Center. Also included in the child support referral packet is a statement of good cause, which needs to be completed per absent parent. Section 4 requests information on any children in your family who are currently in school or plan on starting school in the next 6 months. You are asked to list any children that are attending preschool or Head Start as well. Section 5 requests information on any earned income your household receives. You need to complete this section for everyone in your household that is working or self-employed. You will need to turn in verification of any income that you receive in the most current 30 days. This section also requests information about any unearned income that your household receives. You will need to turn in verifications for any unearned income. Section 6 requests information on any deductions that your household may have. You will need to turn in verification for the deductions. Section 7 requests information on any adult family members that need help with child care. It is divided in subsections. Subsection A is for help with school or training. Subsection B is for help with work. Subsection C is for job search, and subsection D is for MFIP clients. Section 8 requests information on all children who are attending or are in need of child care. Please note that if you do not have a provider picked out at the time you turn in your application to the agency, you may still turn in the application. Lastly, before you sign and date your application, please read the information that is included on pages 10 and 11 of the application. This information is important for you to understand and to know what is expected of you to receive child care assistance. Once you have signed and dated the application, you can detach the client responsibilities and rights and keep for your records. Your application is now completed, and once you have all your verifications gathered, you are now ready to turn in your child care assistance application to the agency. After submitting your application, here are a few things for you to expect. Please allow the county up to 30 days to process the application. If the application is incomplete or verifications are missing, you will receive a letter. It is very important that you complete the requirements expected in the letter, or your application will be denied and you will be required to start the application process over, including turning in new verifications. If you completed your application and turned in all verifications that were requested, you will receive a child care notice of decision stating if you are eligible. You will also be notified if you have a copay. One of the most common errors is the failure to complete the entire application and turn in all verifications before we can complete eligibility. In order to be eligible for child care assistance, you must be in compliance with child support. If you have any questions, you can call Child Care Assistance at 507-304-4335.
So, to Chair and Commissioners, there's a couple of things just to highlight before I turn it over to Jay. One is that we also have a Spanish version that we loaded up on Bob's computer, but for the sake of time, we're not going to play that for you this morning. But there's actually 7 different languages that we published at this point, 7 most common languages in our community that trying to address the needs that we have. We believe there's this hurdle where the application isn't necessarily intuitive, and again, I go back to the tax example, is things can be very complex and not straightforward. This is a utility where we can have people replay it over and over again. MRCI, who does our employment and training, is using this on every case, and then there's also the direct web access that people can access directly themselves. And so we feel like this is going to be an evolution. It's not probably in its form that it will be in 5 years from now. There's going to be fields that we realize people maybe stumble over that are most confusing, and we'll probably put more of that into these little tutorials so that we can be even more clear about where people sometimes do struggle or stumble. And so that evolution is going to be very important to us. We do think there's utility in other areas that we have as well, and so we'll look at that. Some counties have done similar things, but none that we could find that did the child care one that we did here. And so I really do appreciate staff's effort too. They kind of scrambled to put this together because it was a hot topic for our community, and like I say, a couple of our commissioners were directly involved in that, and we wanted to make sure that we try to close some of those gaps that we saw. So that's really what I have for you today.
Okay, thank you. What a great resource. For somebody that has had to fill out lots of paperwork for a special needs child.
Right.
You know, all the assistance that you can get from the county can only help. So thank you so much for doing this, and I can see in the future we'll be helping out a lot of other programs doing the same thing.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate that. Thank
Well,
you.
and Commissioner, you certainly and Commissioner Campbell have been directly involved in this effort too, so we appreciate your partnership in this.
I appreciate that you gave us the English version, because my Spanish is...
We have it loaded up. If you have extra time, we can play it for you.
Well, we don't have it.
No, we don't today, do we?
You can make it sometime.
It's the Jay Show.
Okay, what do you got for us, Jay?
Chair and Commissioners, the Human Services Committee met June 12th. The Minnesota Valley Action Council, MVAC, Kate Henry Gretz, the Supportive Services Coordinator, spoke about the services they provide. And I'll name 2 of them: information and referral, and budgeting assistance, financial literacy education. There are more you can read on. She also mentioned they're opening the food hub, which is not listed, is in the old Shopko building. It's a new program that will start in July. The produce is grown by local small family farmers. The farmers will supply food to more than a dozen institutions and local consumers. The Food Hub is the first of several local food initiatives that MVAC plans to launch. Under mental health, the NAMI Mental Health Walk took place on May 17th, and over 90 were in attendance.
people from various county clubhouses attended, as well as high school and college students. The Second Step Clubhouse has moved to their new location in the Vine Adult Community Center. The clubhouse will host an open house in honor of their 25th anniversary this Thursday from 4 to 7. And also, the SCCBI and the RMT will host speaker Susan Chen, who will give a presentation on medication management. This will be on June 26th at Grace Lutheran Church from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Bring your own lunch. Under social services, Lynette Ayers is a new adult services supervisor. She attended the social service sector meeting and introduced herself by giving us a summary of her qualifications. Rachel Johnston from the Reach Teen Drop-In said is invited to speak at the September 8th meeting. Thank you. And if you have any questions?
Thanks for that. Good report. Just to reiterate that, the Second Step Clubhouse open house 4 to 7. It's on this Thursday.
Yeah.
2 days.
Yeah, 2 days, so everybody can make it. There's a lot of things going on that day, and we have the ag drainage workshop all day that day.
The department, or township office meeting at night.
Oh, that night.
At 7:30, so.
But it's an open house, so you can just squeeze
Yeah.
in and stop in.
It'd be nice to see.
Thank
Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you so much.
guys.
Thank you.
Got anything else for us, Bob?
No, Mr. Chair, we can recess to the
Walmart.
Walmart groundbreaking.
Sounds good.
Where are you going?
I'll make a motion to recess to the Walmart groundbreaking event.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Yeah, we'll meet great people up there.